Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here today. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. Mine was awesome. I had time to spend with the family and loved ones and friends. My name is Oroma, and in my team of presenters today, I have with me Amandip, Jacob, Hussein, Ramandeep, as well as Kennedy. And we all will be taking you through an exciting presentation on building, managing, and delivering an effective business presentation. Say effective presentation and not just a presentation. When we look at the word effective, effective means success in an intended result. And every presentation has an intention to pass a message to the audience. As a student or a business professional, there are essential skills that every business professional or student should have to have an effective presentation. Planning an effective presentation, as well as delivering an effective presentation, are important life skills for students and business professionals. Yeah, presentations vary, but there are important pointers that every effective presentation should have. And to begin with, to have an effective presentation, the presentation has to be precise and focus on the main point. Now, having said this, I'll hand you over to my colleague, Amandi, who will be taking you through the next slide of this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rama. And this is Amandeep Kaur, and I'm going to talk about some of the aspects of set the stage. First comes practice. For many people, presentation makes them nervous, which is normal. But remember, the more you practice, the more confident and less nervous you're going to be. Then remember, your speaking out loud is one of the bestest way to be prepared for your presentation. Then comes the body language. Your body language can help you engage with your audience. Maintaining eye contact or maintaining a confident posture is more likely to connect with the audience. Then remember, practice makes you ready to face any glitches during the presentations, and make sure you do not let any glitches or technical issues to ignite your temper during your presentation. Then time yourself. Time is very crucial during presentation. To maintain the time during your presentation, it takes a lot of practice. So keep practicing. Then comes the dress for the part. Formal attire is very important for the presentation. As you can see, your attire speaks volume before you even open your mouth. So appearance does matter. When you dress or carry yourself in a positive manner, this helps in conveying the business message. Then avoid wearing distracting jewelry, or avoid keeping any things or coins or keys in your pockets during your presentation, because it's going to make a lot of noise and it can be distracting for your audience and for the presenter as well. And do not use any electronic items such as cell phones during your presentation, because it's not ethical. Thank you. That's for my part, and now Hussein is going to take over the presentation.
Thank you, Amandeep. Now let's talk about setting up the visual aids before your presentation. Visual aids enhance your presentation and they help us to make a point so your audience can understand it easily. If you use a visual aid, try to use such aids which are clear and visible to your audience. Also, the content of the visual aid should not be very confusing for your audience. Try using bar graphs and charts as they are simple and easily understandable by your audience. If you use such visual aids, then your audience do not have to read and listen at the same time. Now make sure if you are using visual aids, they are up and running before giving your presentation. Now let's talk about the standing position during your presentation. It is very important to stand still and confident. Do not move around too much as it will distract your audience. Also avoid standing behind a desk or a chair or any kind of barrier. If you are using projector during your presentation, it is very important that you do not pass through the projector's light and do not block the screen. So now my friend Jacob will more talk about control of your body during your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, Hussein. While my team has already mentioned few factors which are important to do a good presentation, there is one more element I would like to add, which is how to control your body during the presentation. Effective body language can make all the difference and it increases the chance of a successful presentation. Start when you are ready. Make sure everyone in your team is all set to go for the presentation. Be comfortable and confident. Take few deep breaths and make yourself calm inside before starting the presentation. Before talking, pause, make eye contact and smile. Smile not only seems more approachable to the audience, it as well as relieves you from the inner stress. Eye contact helps you to establish a personal connection with the audience. As the presentation goes on, make sure that you face the audience and maintain an eye contact with them. The way you conduct yourself matters the most in the presentation. Poor posture and maintaining no eye contact will make the audience think that you are not confident on the content as well as not confident on yourself. When you make proper eye contact and maintain a confident posture, the presentation is more likely to become a big success and you'll be able to connect much more to the audience. Apart from eye contact, hand gestures and facial expressions keep the audience more engaged with you. Well, that's it from my side, and I would like to pass it on to my colleague Ramandeep. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. And I am Ramandeep Kaur, and I am going to talk about how to use your voice effectively. First and foremost thing to keep in mind is notice what the size of your audience. According to this, you have to raise or soften your voice, and you should know how you say something is just as important as what you are saying. Proper intonation is important to convey emotion. Your voice should fluctuate naturally. It is incredibly important to remember not to speak too fast or too slow. The last but not the least step to keep in your mind that if you speak in public a lot or work in a field where you are required to use your voice on a daily basis. Thank you. That's all for my section. Now Adele is going to take over the presentation.
Thank you, Ramadip, for that beautiful presentation. I'll be moving forward to my next slide, which talks about during presentation, avoid note or script. As we all know that script serves as a guide, but reading notes prevents you from connecting with your audience. I'll be moving to the next point, which talks about always do your listeners a favor by connecting emotionally with them with just a glance here and there, and this can make an effective presentation. Third point I'll be talking about is always be familiar with your presentation, speak slowly and be respectful. With this, the target audience can be able to follow you in a very simple and explanative way. I'll be talking about the fourth point, which says when you're trying to make an effective presentation, always use a narrative way. Make your facts in a narrative way so that the audience can get a view of everything you're trying to talk about. The last point I'll be talking about is for every effective presentation, always learn to trust yourself more than the script. I'll be moving to the next slide. We talked about minimize verbatics. During your presentation, there are a lot of words you should not use. And the most important thing is to be aware of your tics. When you are aware of these tics, you can actually avoid them. I'll be talking about the second point I have under minimize verbal tics, which is preparation is a good way to eliminate verbal tics. If your tics are words, use synonyms. And if you know your tics are sounds, make sure you pause and give yourself that breath for you to remember whatever you have to say in order to make your presentation an effective one. And don't forget to smile. Give yourself the permission to take all the time you need in order to have an effective presentation. On behalf of myself and my team, we like to say thank you so much, and we hope you have learned one or two things. Thank you once again.